Hello, everyone. My name is Greg Pennington. I work for San Francisco Housing Development Corporation, and with me is Feli Sharon, who works for the Mayor's Office of Housing. And I'm honored to be able to present to you today as one of the 5 member agencies of um, Homeownership SF. Um, Hope you'll enjoy this. Home maintenance and repairs, and I'm going to put in parentheses that you can't see foreclosure, just a little bit of foreclosure information as well, as we continue through the evening. I think we're going to try to have about 10 minutes of um, Q&A when it's over, but there are people looking in the chat room that I believe will try to answer things also as we go along and go through this whole process.
This is the interpreter speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hi. Two
Hi.
things before we go ahead. Do you know how long about, so I know if I should call a team? And second, can you click on those 3 dots and click allow pin, allow multi-pin on your video?
Marie-Anne,
Just like 3
Giselle,
little
is that?
dots.
Got it. Okay.
Got it.
Thank you.
Allow multi-pin. Gotcha. Okay, there you go. Let me know if it
Perfect.
works.
And about how long are you expecting?
It's supposed to go from 7 to 8.
So an hour? Okay,
About an
I'm
hour.
a different time zone.
Okay.
It's 10 o'clock
Sorry.
here.
Okay. All righty.
Okay.
And I see more
I might be
people
calling
entering.
another interpreter here in a little bit.
Okay, no worries.
If you see someone else pop up. Thank you.
And I see more people have entered the waiting room, but I'm just going to keep talking here as we go along. Notice that we have enabled closed captioning, and if you join with a computer, take a good look at the screen. It shows you how to click on show caption and show caption language. That is part of the Zoom presentation. If you're on a cell phone or a tablet, it tries to show you just as well where you can enable closed captioning, and make sure to click save at that after that point to be able to get in. Homeownership SF is basically a collaboration of 5 local nonprofits throughout San Francisco that serves as a resource for affordable homeownership opportunities and foreclosure intervention and education. Um, Homeownership SF makes for first-time home buyers, hopefully makes the process easier by hiring or working with these 5 member agencies who have HUD housing counselors approved nationwide in order to provide some of these services that we're hearing about. Includes one-on-one counseling for affordable homes and market rate, special assistance programs as an example, how to buy a home, how to budget, pretty much everything from soup to nuts in the home purchase process. You'll see a little bit later on, some of the nonprofits also do rental stuff too, and work with people from the homeless through people just trying to deal with the San Francisco experience of renting a home. High quality information, because we're under Homeownership SF, their website, and you'll get a link to it, is really, I think, a first stop shop, helping diverse and underserved household communities in San Francisco. Some of the core services that SFHDC provides: financial account coaching, credit building, debt management, I call spending plans, home buyer education, which includes pre and post purchase, and rental housing support. There's where we are specifically located, but also keep in mind we cover, I just believe we're geographically everywhere in San Francisco, and all the agencies have knowledgeable people that I think can help you along through the effort. Plan ahead. One of the things, and forgive me, I'm going to give you quite a few personal references here, but one of the things that I think you need to plan ahead on when you're in the home, as you most of you are now, I believe, is budgeting and long-term planning. Um, this number of 50% that you see of replacement and maintenance, I'm going to add that to it, of system and components over your home over a period of 30 years is a real number. And not paying attention to it, you'll hear me repeat this term um, later throughout the slide presentation. Uh, Things you ignore that seem minimal tend to grow as you go.
Sorry about that, Greg.
Oh, no worries. And
Okay.
you're good. And plan ahead. And I hope a lot of you got your home warranties when you bought your home. I didn't, and I'm paying. Just so you know, I am paying for it. And I feel a bit of a hypocrite to mention it to you, but the reality is home warranty does cover a lot of the components on your home. And actually, when you look at the plan, forces you to be aware of those things you should consider covering. If you haven't done it yet, I don't think it's too late to exercise that muscle and see, which I have done. I'm not going to out myself for what I paid for. It's too embarrassing. But I will say this: it is something you want to get and plan and look at all the things you have in your home that you're responsible for. Another chapter here on budgeting. Um, you have to plan for the maintenance as well as replacement of many of the things in your home. Um, if you're a condo owner, the same thing applies. It also applies, and we're going to talk about homeowners associations a little bit later or throughout this presentation. If you're a condo owner, you're responsible for, the inside of your unit. You have a type of insurance called walls in, but you're also responsible for the outside of the unit because your homeowners association has basically made you self-employed. All the common area that's out there, you are responsible for, and all the people within you have the same percentage ownership. Um, it's wise, I believe, just like a homeowners association does, is to keep a separate account for some of those expenses and give it a monthly number you put in, just like you pay your HOA dues or anything. That roof on a single family residence is going to have to be replaced at some point. And that doesn't mean you're not going to have to maintain it as well, including plumbing and other items. There are places online, um, and I tried various things before I saw this presentation, going to Google, and there are online lists I found easily just by putting in the term uh, household systems checklist or something of that nature. And they run the gamut from everything to realty companies to Fannie Mae has an excellent site. I'll try to, if somebody reminds me, pop in the chat room later. It's only for multifamily, they say, meaning it's like they're talking to landlords, but we're talking homes here. I found the list to be really extensive, and probably a lot of stuff you don't need, but there it is. When you go through it, you'll spot stuff on their list. I thought, actually, I'm going to plan on going back to it and kind of doing a walkthrough of my home as well. Here's an example of that of a checklist here that you can utilize. Um, Look at it. This is going seasons of the year, but spring, quarterly, annually, biannually. Note in March, the clean range hood filters. Hello, just happened to me. Got the warning on it. This was a DIY for me. I did it myself, and you're talking to a guy who can barely screwing a light bulb. I'm still working on it, but I'm getting there. But had to replace the filter. It made me think and wonder if I've done some damage, honestly, to my oven, because the filter probably should have been replaced earlier. But look at all the things you see on here. That one hit me, obviously. Having a fire extinguisher available. The carbon monoxide detector, see that one there? I am a homeowner who has used that, who had somebody literally the back of their car was in my garage and carbon monoxide was coming through my garage. And next thing I knew, my house was filled with exhaust. Um, all of you are going to be able to, and I encourage you to look through each of these things, and you're going to see something that makes sense to you. And it's going to give you something to think about and note and put it in a little book and put it on your calendar so you don't really have to think about it other than doing it on a calendar basis. Another full disclosure, there are a lot of filters in your home, depending upon whether you have a single family residence or a condo. And filters can cost you a lot of money if you don't replace them in terms of your HVAC units in your home, especially if you have an older home. Because when those things back up and don't work, they, and this is inaccurate and probably a little over the top, but they basically explode. My one that exploded, and I'm joking, it didn't really explode, but $2,000 to me felt like an explosion if you get my drift. Um, I love this list, went through it before I saw the thing. I'd recommend you do it too, and even if you don't look up anything online. Preventive maintenance, corrective maintenance and repairs, and major projects. I like the way this is listed because I like the term preventive maintenance. They talk about caulking in this and cabinetry adjustments. Recaulking, when you don't do it and don't pay attention to it, um, can cost you money because of water damage and other factors. Um, These are things I did not know when I first bought my home, and I wound up paying a lot of extra money because of it. I really like the idea of making that list. And don't be me. I had a great walkthrough with my home inspector, and then with the home inspection list, I just filed it to never look at it again. I recommend if you've done that and done a walkthrough, pull it back out again. There's a lot of good information from a home inspector talking about the future, the life of your roof, how old your uh, older homes in San Francisco, you see all the electrical work and pipes in the garage in a lot of cases. It freaked me out the first time I saw it, but it's very common. So preventive maintenance is a big deal and something you should think about. Corrective maintenance is also important. Water heater stuff, believe it or not. I live in the shipyard, and in a new building, I had to replace some pipes in the water heater, and it cost some pretty serious money. It should have been covered. It should have been done properly, but it wasn't. And expect that. Everybody's human. You got to think forward. And then the long-term projects, which generally I look at that more towards single family residences where you own everything, and then your HOA being involved. A thing I recommend for anybody who buys a condo is to make sure you look at everything on the outside as though you own it. And what would you do if you owned it to make sure your homeowners association, who should go over the, I call it a profit and loss statement, but basically what your expenses are supposed to be and where your money is going on your dues, it's sitting right there for you. But we tend not to go to meetings. We don't enjoy it. If something bad happens, then we go. I did the same darn thing, and shame on me. Actually, they asked me to become a board member So then I had to be involved. Fascinating experience. Um, but please, please, at least just go to the meetings once a month to find out how your business is doing. Does that make sense? If you live in a condo, how's your business doing right now? Are they taking care of business? Are those $450 a month dues in 5 years going to go up to $950? And you've heard that story before, so be very, very careful. Yes, I looked at a YouTube video, and this is an example of shower tile grout. And I actually believe, and I'm going to have the experience very soon of trying it myself. Then we'll really find out. Look at some of the stuff repair. Unmaintained grout can lead to staining, cracks in tile. Ooh, mold, mold, capital letters on mold, water damage to walls and floors. Um, it's a very, very important thing to figure out when it should be replaced and what to look for when you're eyeing the tub and the shower systems. Um, Inside a condo, if you own a condo, that's all you. Pay attention to the plumbing. Um, the one thing you're going to find out about after you've been in your condo or your home for a while is that tone when all the batteries need to be replaced in the carbon monoxide detector as well as um, for fire, potential fire. Ours, we had about 8 of them, and they all kind of went off one after the other over a period of a couple of days. And one thing, because we weren't thinking about it, we had a high roof in one area down the stairs. And I literally just went and bought a roof just to make sure I would be able to replace it myself. One and two, there were light fixtures up there. Kind of things you want to think about. CC&Rs stands for covenants, conditions, and restrictions. You normally don't look at them because when they're given to you or you see them, and yes, they have them if you own a single family residence as well. Okay. The covenants, conditions, and restrictions on your condo or home tells you what you can and can't do in many cases. The list is so thick you tend not to look at it, but I'm going to teach you something here. If you go back to your original package and you find your CC&Rs, treat it like a book and look at page 1. Look at the table of contents, just like you would a book. And if you eyeball that and scan it, some things are going to jump out at you related to, can I paint my door? Some of it seems going to seem innocuous. Or you might find that the veranda that you have outside your condo on floor 5, you don't actually own it. And everything that you see that you and only you can use is the responsibility of the homeowners association. It's interesting how often the devil's in the details on those. Just real quick, recent client found out that he is paying the electricity for the outside area of a little walkway that continually stays on. Now, when he asked me about it, I said, well, that sounds wrong. And he wanted me, just because I did his training, to go in and represent him with the HOA. And I said, no, one, you wouldn't want me. Two, there are not a lot of resources out there. We found them for somebody to help you and see, is this unusual and should it be reversed and how you would reverse it. There it is again, right at the bottom, right? Attend the meetings. Please do. Don't wait until something happens and then you're going to be that person yelling and screaming at the next board meeting because it didn't go your way. Get involved early and then you can be part of the decision making on your new business. Should you do it yourself? Do you really want to face that leaky faucet, the caulking, the weather stripping? Be realistic. I told you I can't screw in a light bulb, pretty close to true. Um, and be careful, and this is the first time we mention it. We are in the land of Proposition 13. We live in California. There is a set price when you buy your home, and your taxes cannot go up. I believe more than 1%. You can double check me on that number annually. But if you do certain home improvements, your property can be reassessed. And you want to say, well, Greg, obviously, if I replace a window, I don't need a permit for it. Really? Really? You're going to apply logic to this. Don't do it. Find out now for every little thing and just go through the list now of things that you do need to pull a permit for. Some things are obvious. That room downstairs that they gave a fancy name to, workroom, office room, or whatever, that really is situated to be a bedroom. How do you have to get permits in order to turn it into a bedroom? Are they going to reassess the value of the property? There it is again. Be careful with that. Go to this site and take a good look um, at this site and find out all the things, even now, even when it doesn't seem, excuse me, possible. I have a section I'm in a condo. I have a section under my stairs that is worthless. It's literally, and when I looked at the plans, it's literally empty space that I could turn into something that would help in the kitchen. I'm going to have to pull permits, and I'm going to have to ask permission from the homeowners association in order to get that done. Next slide. I'm sorry. Next slide. And hire a pro. The world is great now in terms of having things like Yelp, Angie's List. I'm going to say Yelp a third time, um, to help you find electricians and plumbers and carpenters that are licensed. And be careful with that versus the fourth dot on there, which is a handyman, um, especially when you're looking at stuff like plumbing work and carpentry work and electrical work. It does require a brain, it does require knowledge, and they do have to back up the nature of the work that they do. Show it some respect. Um, a shout out to my plumber for life for decades, the friendly plumber who I love, who educated me on toilets. You're going to learn to love some of these people. Who can do things you can't do and learn more about your home at the same time. And as you know, Yelp is a good thing. If you live in a condo, more than likely, members of your association have a Facebook page or another page where they talk outside of the meetings. Really good spot to get a recommendation to help you clean the home or for an electrician or plumber or whatever you need. So remember, you're part of a society when you're in a condo association, and people trade notes back and forth. And if you're in a single family residence, hello, neighbor. You're going to have neighbors across the street. You're going to have people there. I used to live in an area called Monterey Heights, and I miss them. Um, since we moved, I miss them. And I found my plumber and a lot of the other things I found through knocking on my buddy's door and saying, hey, you got a recommendation. Anyway, basically, professional work, you know how to do it. Hire a pro, hire somebody that's going to be responsible for the nature of the work that they do. Um, Hiring a contractor. I'm going to wait, I believe, till the next slide to say the main thing I want to say, but roof work, obviously, electrical, mold work, oh, God help you. Foundation work, God help you. Not only do you need a permit, but you need to hire a contractor that knows what the heck they're doing. The last two there, foundation and mold, wow, can be expensive, can get you kicked out of your home for a while. Find out some of those things at this site again about pulling permits because The things you have to pull permits on are probably going to be some of the things you're going to have to do in the future. Good way to have a checklist. Um, and there's your warning again at the end. Don't disregard this. Some of the things you do will allow a reassessment of your property taxes, which in California, we don't want to have happen. And you're going to have to figure out the nuances of it. Are they looking at your house as a whole now? Or are they going to factor in the cost of a new bedroom? Or if you're building up, how does reassessment work if you make that decision? Always keep your property taxes in mind because we're blessed, honestly, to have Prop 13. I see it with seniors all the time. They're not even aware of Prop 13. They're not aware of what some of us who have bought in the last 4 or 5 years are paying in taxes. Working with professionals. If you've never worked with a contractor before, let me run a couple of things by you right off the bat. Um, a bid and proposal or a contract, it's advised to at least get three and compare all three bids together. You will learn a lot about looking at the bids. You will, by looking at each bid, you will see the breakdown of the cost for the work, the labor. You will see a breakdown of the cost of materials. And if you don't see that breakdown, there's a problem, if you get my drift. Some contractors do this work better than others. And when I say work, giving you a proper bid. Um, there's a loan program on FHA called the 203K. It allows you to get a brand new loan and finance the construction in one loan at the same time. You can even buy a home that way. Um, but that forces you to get a bid because the lender's not going to play around with it because contractors make mistakes. Sometimes they need to be fired. And I'll say it again, you're going to get an education in dealing with this. If you do get bids and proposals, take a good look at everything, get at least three, but also talk to somebody you know that might be able to give you advice on what they see. And double check the quality of the work of the person you're looking at. Check their contractor's license. You don't want to buy anybody unlicensed or work with someone unlicensed because if there's no insurance and they fall off the roof or they hire unlicensed people and somebody fires off the roof, guess who they're going to sue? Guess who they're going to go after? This is the way the world works, at least America works. You want somebody licensed for just the reason I'm saying. And plenty of people, when anybody requires a license, you can get every positive recommendation known to mankind. But then when you look them up, you find out there have been issues in the past or their license has expired. You're in a below market rate unit in San Francisco. You're in affordable housing. But take good care of your below market rate unit. Um, the person who's going to move in behind you when you sell is going to have to live there too. And stuff you don't maintain, again, exponentially, is going to get more expensive if you leave it there. And I'm just going to use the term let it rot. Carpeting, maybe not, but until you pull up the carpeting, you don't know what damage you have done by living there. You pull up the carpet, you discover things, if you get my drift. Uh, my big one, I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, was I got a termite report. I'm going to say this one, tell you this one now, and talking about buying and selling a home. When you get a termite report, there's a note made of it. When we bought our home in Monterey Heights, we did not follow the termite report and get the work done. Well, what happened? As I said, it got worse. And so now the repairs were going to cost a lot more. And I was concerned because I didn't take care of business. What did I do? I got another termite guy to come out and see just how bad it was. Did I do the work after that? No, even though I got the termite person. Fast forward 2 years, You have to disclose when you sell your property everything you know about it. Lack of disclosure can cost you money. I forgot about my termite report I ordered. It cost me money. Just letting you know. They found out a termite report was run and I didn't do the work. Doesn't matter that I didn't do the work. What matters is I was aware of certain things related to the home that I did not disclose when I sold. I hope that makes sense to you. Um, Perhaps I'm selling, and this is good for a BMR too, telling you information, personal information, but I want you to be aware of the costs involved. And I love arrow 3 on here. Property inspections are just so invaluable. And if you can, you're at the point now where you're about to sell or you're about to buy again, please do a walkthrough with the home inspector. It is like watching an expert on TV, but they're talking about something you own. It's a fascinating experience. Um, there it is, resale. For more information about reselling a below market rate unit, there's your site that you go to, so you can find out what the guidelines and rules are for when you sell. Keep track of everything you do in your home. Somebody threw a football through your window, you repaired your window, throw it in a book, put it on your computer, hold on to the receipts. I promise you, and I guarantee you, for deeper reasons than I will get into, you will be very happy you have done that when you sell your home. You will be very, very, very happy that you have done that. Always pay attention to your warranties as well and find out what's going on. A little bit of that homework, as you do things, even when they seem like little things, just maintaining that and keeping that, you're going to wind up having to pull a lot of this information out if you live in a home after 20 years. It sounds ridiculous, but it could be an IRS thing as well as a disclosure thing when you sell your home. Oh, one note on that too. Notice if you're a condo owner, that's something you need to look for in the numbers that are given to you by your homeowners association as well. Remember, you do own everything. It's just a percentage outside your condo. You only own a percentage. But when those dues go up, you're going to remember that you own a share of that when your nut neighbor turned out to be the president down the road and you knew he was a nut and you let him get elected and now you're going to pay, if you get my drift. Oh, I hope I'm not being too negative, but the memories are coming back here. Yeah, there's a way to finance home repairs. If you're using MOHCD and you're buying a BMR or you bought market rate with down payment assistance, anything of that nature, some of these things aren't available to you, as in a cash out refinance. Let me give you an idea of how you could work that out with MOHCD. This is not MOHCD is not going to allow you to get cash money out to put in your pocket or, like me, finance my son's education. They're just not going to allow it. Does that mean they won't allow a cash out refinance? No. They just want to know where the money's going. Period. They want to see the bid and proposals you're looking at, if not the final one, and approve it as you get pre-approved for your loan. If you can find somebody who will do a cash out refinance if you own a BMR or whatever. Um, but anyway, that's why you see permitted only very limited circumstances. Home equity lines of credit, popularly called HELOCs, HELOC. Not permitted once again. Why is a home equity line of credit something you might want to consider? Well, I don't know everyone on this, but if you're a homeowner and you bought your home before rates exploded, you can leave that rate alone, not have to pay off your $500,000 or $600,000 mortgage and finance your repairs with this home equity line of credit. You can get another loan, a second. And so the whole balance of the mortgage doesn't have to go in with the 100,000, 80,000, 50,000. You don't have to raise your rate from 3.5% to 6 in order to get it. You can get a home equity line of credit, a second lien against your property that acts like a credit card, literally, to help finance the work you need done. You can also do alternative things, personal loans. A lot of you, especially since you bought a home, you watch what happened to your credit score because you still pay your bills and it went up. Also, the number of people trying to convince you to get a credit card and many other things, your mail expanded enormously as well. But unsecured financing is an option as well. And there are nonprofit and government program grants, things of that nature, um, that will help you in financing under certain circumstances. Certain circumstances, you just have to find out what's out there and do some research, but it does exist. And that last line in green there, consult a tax professional. Whenever you're doing improvements on your home, it can have various IRS implications, too numerous to go into now. But save your receipts, note the amount of work that you have done, and put them in that folder to be pulled out later on. Because your tax preparer, when you're ready to sell, is going to want to see it. And disaster planning. Um, Look, we're in California. We have the things we've gone through. We have earthquakes. We have floods. We have fires. Um, you got to be prepared and know what you're going to do when things happen. Remember when I mentioned to you the carbon monoxide issue I had? I called the fire department, and my wife and my son and my nephew, who was living with us, thought I was nuts. But I'm sorry. I've heard of people die from carbon monoxide. Okay? And I hear it's incestuous and it goes up the railways and goes up everywhere. Yes, I called the fire department. And yes, I knew where I was exiting the home was the right place to go. Luckily, luckily, I wish I could tell you I had planned for it, but it's smart to plan for stuff like that now and be prepared because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Household accidents, too, are really common. Oven getting in fire, reaching out to another area. And if you live in a condo, it impacts your neighbors as well. Don't overload electrical outlets. Um, I hope you all do this. You know the lint in your dryer, right? You pull that out, you sweep that out all the time when you dry your clothes. Uh, you've got probably got a vent pipe. It works the same way. It needs to have lint and debris now cleaned out every now and then too. And what happens, of course, when you don't do it? The vent gets backed up. Let's not even go there. You don't want to be there when it happens. Make sure you know in your home where these lint gatherers, I don't know what else to call it, are in your home and outside. Same thing with smoke alarms. That was good. That was good. We were good. Same thing with smoke alarms and carbon monoxide detectors. I'm telling you probably a story you never really hear. In all the sleeping areas on every level of the floor of the home. Oh my God, Greg, the thing went off and I just took a broom handle and I knocked it off the thing so I didn't have to hear it anymore. Replace it. Um, and especially if you don't care about yourself, care about the other person that lives with you, okay? It can make a difference on every level of them. And emergency supplies. Nothing wrong with having an emergency supply kit. Go to this website and look at what is standard in the home. You get it, you buy it, it's there. And when that unthinkable thing happens, it's there. It's something you want to do. Look at this planning guide. I love this thing. I actually attended a couple of classes on this, and I believe Felly, if she wants to jump in, probably has a lot more knowledge than I do on this. But this is something you want to have a checklist on and just get it done now and calendar things you need to replace, and then you don't worry about it anymore later on down the road. It Something you don't think is going to happen will happen, and you need to be prepared. My home is on 3 levels. I'm in a condo, and it's on 3 levels. Look at this escape plan and all the options. Notice that some of the options are getting out of windows. You don't think you need this, but even especially in San Francisco, when we talk about fires, we've heard some bad things. I saw the circling around the meeting place, especially if you live in a condo. Where's everybody going to go? Where's everybody going to go um, to meet when something happens on your block? Sometimes, a lot of places, if you live in a good neighborhood, they have people who walk the block. Um, this is especially true condos, new construction, living in the city. But this plan is a good idea to not just have in your head. Look at everything that you can think of, including windows, in case you need to use them. Um, and that goes for upstairs as well. We all watch the news. You know what I'm talking about. You absolutely know what I'm talking about. Have a home escape. Oh, I absolutely love what you're putting in the chat room. Thank you so much. For those of you not looking in the chat room, there's a lot of conversation with links and things you really want to click on now. You want to click on those now and bookmark some of these sites and things that Homeownership SF in their wisdom is putting in the chat room for you. Programs for homeowners. Buying a new place after having an old place was stunning when I got my first PG&E bill. Of course, it's doubled since then, but it has nothing to do with the fact that I have a lot of newer stuff that is green. And there are a lot of tips and things on here that can save you money. And in an era in San Francisco where we see the cost of utilities going up exponentially with no end in sight, I think it's wise for you. You think you'll only be saving pennies. You might be surprised at what a replacement of a certain thing, a door or a window, and changing the windows that you have um, will make in your PG&E bill. Be energy efficient. And I'm talking about after the fact. Do a walkthrough on your home right now and find out all the things you can do to keep your prices low. Ooh, I like the stuff at the bottom there. Tankless water heaters, duct replacement. Oh my God. I heard so many horror stories when things like that weren't done or stuff backed up, especially water, and destroyed other areas of the home. Making sure your ceiling is all set, SEALING. That actually goes for your ceiling, CEILING. And what's above it? What is the stuff keeping things temperate as you go in, especially if you get an older home? You really want to pay attention to it because when you have $100 bills and beyond, nickel dime over a year or two, some things you can do um, will cut that bill down enormously and be worth the upfront expense. Only if you research, only if you research. This is called Grid Alternatives Bay Area. No cost solar electrical for eligible households. Whoa. Um, yeah, I'm making a note of that myself. There it is. There's the phone number. Fascinating. Um, you're probably thinking like I am on the grid alternative. Now I'm already thinking, where is it on my roof? I have a roof on my condo. What can I do? Where can I put it? This is a good thing to check out. Once again, saving yourself money. Saving yourself money. There is tax relief if you have had flood damage. Please take note of this. Note If you've suffered over 10,000 in flood damage, there can be a level of relief. And there's the link down there for any of you who have gone through this. Might even be a good thing just to pay attention to in general, as well as our seas grow high and our seawalls need to be repaired in the United States of San Francisco. And here she is. This is Feli Sharon. Um, she's a godsend to me. You all are lucky to have her talk to you. I try to stay in her good graces, but she's a blessing. Feli, you're on.
Thank you so much, Greg. Hello, everyone. My name is Feli Charoom, and I'm with the Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development, and I am the Home Ownership Preservation Specialist. And today I'm going to be talking about our help loan and capital improvement. So the help loan, it's also known for Homeowner Emergency Loan Program, and it's a one-time financial assistance loan for San Francisco homeowners who are in need of help due to an unforeseen financial hardship. This means that it's for homeowners that have a temporary hardship, either they lost their employment or they got a reduction in income for a period of time, and now they're back on their feet and they're able to afford their housing costs, but they don't have the total lump sum amount to pay the delinquent account. So the help loan, it's a loan up to $50,000 to be able to cover that. And the funds can be used to cover HOA special assessments, which is renovation or other building costs passed down to owners. It can also be used to cover past due HOA monthly dues or fees, past due property taxes, and past due mortgage payments. Capital improvement credits, this is related to the below market rate units. It allows BMR owners to add depreciated value of improvements when they are ready to resell their units. So the capital improvement credit amount will be added to the maximum resale sales price that they get from OCD. The credits are capped at 10% of the resale price, 100% credit for eligible major improvements, and 50% credit for eligible maintenance or repair costs. So not everything is an eligible item to be able to get credit under the capital improvement program. But we suggest homeowners that have done work on their units to submit the request and let the servicing department determine if their repairs are eligible for credit or not. In order to get credit, the unit must be at least 10 years after the unit was originally occupied. So that can be either the original owner or it can be a unit with previous owners, as long as the original occupancy was at least more than 10 years, then that unit will be eligible to receive capital improvement credits. We strongly suggest to check the inclusionary manual for details, because every unit may be different. It depends on under what manual you purchase your BMR unit under, the eligibility requirements, and also the percentage of credit that you get may be different from program and from manual. And now I'm going to turn it back to Greg to finalize the slides.
You just listened to the power, everybody. I strive to submit applications to Feli and do a good job. I can help you submit the applications when I do my job properly. And I'm working on that, Feli. Okay? I'm working on that, just so you know.
Oh, you're doing an amazing job, Greg. Thank you so much for assisting our homeowners in getting all this stuff, because it can be a little complicated to get through a help loan. It's very similar to underwriting a regular loan. A lot of documentation, a lot of information that we need. So it is great to have partners like Greg that can help homeowners complete all that process.
And I'm always improving, Feli, just so you know. I'm always working on it, okay? We all care about you people. It may not seem like we do, but I'm an old mortgage banker going back to 1977, and even mortgage bankers and mortgage loan originators care about you. You never hear about it, but it's true. Meeting with me, avoiding foreclosure. taking the following steps, and I'm not going to go too fast, but I saw the time. Um, One of the things you want to do if you're a homeowner right now and you see the clock ticking and you see that 30-day late coming, um, as a child of foreclosure, as somebody who's seen it with friends and family for decades, the person that goes through it, the person you, if you're experiencing it, you are not going to be of right mind. And you have to focus and almost act like an actor unto yourself and get ready and get tough and not ball up in a corner somewhere and feel like the sky is falling. Reach out and communicate with the servicer who's collecting on your home before the problem hits if you see it coming. I have two clients doing that right now. And there are some things related to what I call loss mitigation, where the loss hasn't happened yet. And we're preparing for the future to see if we can get them relief because they just lost their job now. We're not waiting 3 or 4 months for that to happen. We're doing it right now. Never ignore the problem, always communicate. And I promise you, these servicers who have collectors, they are shocked when you call. It in the old days in the 70s when I was a collector and I learned the trade of being a mortgage banker, we had a Rolodex. And my favorite thing was to pick up the phone and somebody called me because they were concerned. That doesn't happen. You're going to get better results. And keep a log of everything. The phone number you called, the name of the person you called, what department they're in. And I'm going to give you this tidbit. Sometimes where they work. It's going to sound odd to you, but in my position, it's saved the life of some of my clients, the little details, because some of the places aren't very good and they hire employees and it's not that they don't care, it's they don't know. So, and everything is recorded when you go through this. Hope I'm not talking too much, but you need to hear this. Everything is recorded. So you can record things too and let them know. And there are apps that allow you to do that. All you have to do is let them know and record it. And you want to pay attention each time who you are talking to and what department it is. It seems like a little thing, but down the road, if things change and happen and they don't follow through on what they said, it makes the difference of things happening and not happening. So start early to avoid foreclosure with that mindset of when you talk to them about even unusual basic things. It's going to make a difference. In this era right now, your loan is a commodity in a lot of cases. Your loan can be sold to another servicer and then sold again. And then something else happens if you get a reverse mortgage and it's sold to HUD and you don't even know who to call. Pay attention to it because you are now, and your property is now a commodity that can be sold out and about. Sorry if I was a little over, it's my life. Beware of rescue scams. You do not need somebody to pay up front to help you. There are plenty of services out there at nonprofits that are out there to help you. And let me be very blunt. We're more knowledgeable than any of them. And I'm going to say to you, even attorneys, there are attorneys who apply services that so called specialize in this stuff, but you really don't necessarily need to go that deep. Are you with me? You don't necessarily need to go that deep. I had a client the other day where I blinked because he's doing it early. And I said, I'm never going to tell you to stop making mortgage payments. The servicer is going to do what they're going to do. But no one should ever tell you to stop making mortgage payments. And that happened a lot in 2008. Um, and bad banker when that happens. And never sign documents you don't understand. If you've gotten yourself in the middle of it, bring it to me. Bring it to me. Bring it to a housing counselor. We've seen them. I've seen them for 40 years, these documents. I know where to look. And when I don't know, I have other nonprofits, believe it or not, I go to that are attorneys that don't cost you anything. That's part of what we try to do for you as a nonprofit. The key thing is Of course you don't sign your property over for property title. And I've seen people do this and they don't understand what they sign. You have us. Bring it by to us and let us look for it. You have no friends calling you on the phone out of the blue. No one when you're in a foreclosure situation. There is nobody you can trust. Oh, Greg, you're exaggerating. There is no one you can trust at each stage of foreclosure that is calling you on the phone to help you. Okay? It's just a fact of life, a statement of life. And you don't give people your credit card numbers or your social security number or anything. They don't know you. They don't like you. They are trying to scam you. And forgive me if you're a senior and I'm saying this to you, and I've said it to them under bad circumstances, and I'm just have to say it again. When you're in this situation in foreclosure, there is nobody who's going to call you on the phone that is going to help you. And if you hear a friend doing it, send them to us. Send them to Homeownership SF so you can get the benefit of our wisdom and knowledge for free. That's why we're here. Understand what your options are. Plan and prepare for repayment. There are a lot of options and things we can do when you get into trouble even before it hits. It's surprising what utility companies can do when you can't pay your PG&E bill. It's shocking. How did I do that? I learned that by calling them on your behalf. It's amazing some of the things that are out there for you. I just happen to have the benefit of calling some of these places and being aware of them where you don't have to go through a lot of that. There are websites that help you manage debt, how to prioritize building a spending plan. The 5 nonprofits we're talking about, we work with you on that. And let me be blunt again, it's really somebody working with you on it. The stuff is so logical when you talk with somebody, when you do a spending plan and budget. The hard part is holding the mirror up to your face and doing it. Don't be daunted. Okay? Don't be. Come and get help. We can help. No judgment. We can help. Ah, the expo. We hope to see you Saturday. I'm going to be there too, manning a table. Poor terminology. Person at the table. Um, and there are going to be a lot of other people. Fun place. Come around. I don't know. I think we're serving food. I don't know. You all can tell me later. But if we're not, go get some food and come and just walk around. It's kind of a pleasant environment just to see. Wow. When you're a homeowner, kindred spirits, and hear things that are going on. Um, I don't know. It's not like you're going to have to spend the whole day, but this is a good chance to come in and learn things that you're not aware of or you haven't thought of that might hit you later on. And talk to us face to face where we're not doing a 1 hour one-on-one and we have the time to meet you and shake your hand and look you in the eye, which I adore. Um, anyway, there's the date. Hope to see you this Saturday at the fair. I believe it's from 10 to 2 on Saturday. Forgot the location, but I'm sure Marianne or Giselle will tell you about that as we continue on. I'm going to be evaluated. Horrors. You are going to evaluate me. Be honest. It only helps me grow. And you don't have to worry about the fact that I'm a 67-year-old man who could barely get a job, and your comments might affect my employment down the road. Worry about none of that and be honest when you do the evaluation survey. I love this country. Anyway, please do. It also helps Homeownership SF help us get better when we're given the opportunity to present to you and hopefully talk about the right things within a 60-minute period. Questions? And Marianne, Giselle, I'm going to kind of let you go from here.
Yeah, there were quite a few questions in the chat. Giselle, did you want to ask them as you were looking over the chat? Doesn't matter, whichever works.
Yeah, I'm happy to go over some questions. First question we saw today was, will this presenter be at the event on Saturday? Greg, you did wonderful. You have fans. They want to meet you.
Oh,
Greg will be
Lord.
there. Next question is from Rick. Is NDSC a legitimate company, or are they someone with a known predatory history?
You gave initialisms, and not the full name. And the first thing in any business or anything I do when I'm checking somebody out is I put the initialism first to see what the company might be. And if you know the full name of the company, put it in Google. It will be eye-opening. And it will take you to certain sites that will give you information, no matter what the business. It's just a great tool to play around with and verify. Um, and let's say that I had a bad experience as a housing counselor with a contractor, which I've had. My bad experience should not allow me to badmouth them to you right now if I knew who they were, unless they were a really, really, really bad actor. So play the Google game and take your time with it. It's kind of fun. I used to put in the initialism or the full name and then say complaints, mistakes, errors, bad actor, and things like that. And then any negativity just flows. It just flows on there. And be very careful. You're going to get a good feel for, if somebody doesn't have a lot of bad things against them and you've looked them up on Yelp, you'll be fine. I didn't hear, what were the initials again, though? I'm curious.
The initials were NDSC.
Yeah, I don't know it. M like Mary? Yeah. And honestly, off the top of my head, unless they were incredibly bad, you shouldn't trust what I say and do the research yourself and double check it with other people.
Hey, does anyone else have any questions? Feel free to type that in the chat. If not, I think um, Rick responded and said, just Googled and they have a D from
Ooh,
Better Business Bureau.
ooh, oh my God. I I don't think I've ever seen that. A D from the Better Business Bureau. Well, obviously you should give them a call and have them come work on your home. Oh my Lord. Enough said on that. Uh, wow. I have nothing to say. Oh my golly. I love it.
Greg, this wasn't a question, but I think their name is either Sierra, sorry if I mispronounced it, or Kyra. They just had a comment. They said, this workshop is great. This should be a course for high schoolers, college students, everyone. So really great feedback for you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Greg.
I saw the California Mortgage Relief Program question. May I answer that? Um, California Mortgage Relief Program, CMRP, here's the verb, was an incredible, incredible program that helped so many people nationwide. It was actually put out by the Treasury Department, but they literally shut down last week. It was a way of getting grants to get yourself current. It was a great ride. It's gone. And yes, it was legit. It was real. I helped a number of people with it. But oh, you got your app in before the deadline. You Rick, you rock star. Yeah, keep on him, man. If you need any help with it or you're having problems, get my number. I do have a couple of contacts on the backside. It's very difficult to get through the first person to get information. And if they're doing you wrong, I do have a couple of people I can send an email to. But thank God. Will it ever come back? You know what, Diane? My wife's political, and I have been telling everybody and their mother that we should bring this back. But remember, the money came from the Treasury Department, so we all should get some form of writing program in again to our people that represent us in the government to have it come back. Because I'm going to say it to you again, you have no idea of how many people we've been able to help. And there wasn't an option. Felly is a great option, and it's a loan. And one of the key things is ability to repay. Oh, but Greg, I'm not sure I have the ability to repay. I'm an underwriter. My background is underwriting and approving loans. And I'm supposed to help you with the application, gather the information, and put your best foot forward when I submit to Felly. I'm sorry. I got excited. Forgive me, but that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And a lot of these things are going away. But I strongly recommend on the California Mortgage Relief Program, I'm doing it, talking to your senator, your local people, because wow, we needed a second chance. Rates have gone up. It's horrible. Yes, it would. Writing a letter to President Biden. You don't think things like that work. Also, listen to me a minute. I've done amazing things through Senator Dianne Feinstein. I've done amazing things through our local people, our Congress people. You'd be shocked. They have people waiting on phones for your phone call. They have constituents that help them get elected that have jobs to answer questions and talk with you about what can be done. The more people who call, it does make a difference. Don't think it doesn't. In my life, at least, and this doesn't sound like a lot, but at least 3 or 4 times over a long period of time, I have actually gotten help. Um, and I'm so excited when I'm talking to you about it, my mind went blank. From your congressman, from your senator, anyone in that position. Don't buy the hype. Don't listen to the news and think everybody sucks. They really do have people back in the back pages that you call up and you'll be shocked. College students, people who haven't lost hope, who will get the information to their elected people. Scott Wiener helped me recently on a deal. Um, wow. And they have power. Listen to me, people. They do have power and they love to exercise it when they can.
All
Stop me,
right, thank
Giselle.
you.
I'm getting emotional and I'm starting to forget what I do and I got Philly over there listening to me. Hope I haven't embarrassed myself. Oh my Lord.
No
Anyway.
worries. You've done great. Thank you so much, Craig. If there are no other questions, I think that concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for being here, Felly and Craig.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you.
honored you asked us. Thank you so much.